Hey everybody, Zill Brothers here, making a video. This one is about, it's a harsh topic and it's a complex issue. Um, and it's about this tennis player, Peng Shuai. Now, if you look at this lady, she accused a Chinese government official of sexually assaulting her. And when she made that post, it stayed online for about 30 minutes and then it got shut down. Any reference to her immediately got censored, and we have not heard her freely speak since. And when you look at this incident, a lot of people are saying, well, this is related to the Me Too movement, and there's this big move against powerful men using their position to have sexual access to women. And here's the thing. Men have always used their power and their money for sexual advantage. That is how it has always been. But there are some men who have gone way past the line in what they've done. Now, in my opinion, going way past the line is always having sex with somebody you're not married to. So this is just a moral position, and that's just strictly from the Bible, right? So having sex with somebody you're not married to, and ultimately you should be married to one person, and you should be happy with that one person and be having sex with that one person and having a fruitful sexual life with that one person. That's how it is meant to be. And that is going to require restraints on both parties, because for the woman it means that you're going to have to meet the sexual desires of this one man, which will be hard for most women to do because most men's sexual desires are more than most women's sexual desires. So that means women will have to have sex sometimes when they don't fully feel like doing it, but they're doing it for the good of their partner. On the other hand, it's going to require restraint on the man's part, because most men will have stronger sexual desires than their partner could ever fulfill. And I'll give you just an example. Let's just say that you get your wife pregnant. After you get your wife pregnant and she has the baby, there's going to be a part of her life where she is physically unable to have sex. So you as a man are going to have to exercise restraint no matter how it goes. So ultimately, when you look at real sexual relationships as the Bible intends it to be, is one-on-one, and it requires restraint on both parts, and it requires giving on both parts. That's just how it works. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like the giving on one side or the giving on the other side. Too dang bad. Ultimately, we don't live in a perfect world where you can get whatever you want. You are not God, so you're going to have to exercise your life with some sort of restraint. And ladies who don't want to ever have sex with a man, you are wrong for that. If you are not willing to have sex with your man, then you cannot complain when he steps outside. On the other hand, men, if you can't exercise some kind of restraint, you can expect your wife to really respect you as a person and not as an animal. So those are the two things. But when you have these cases like this, it goes a little bit beyond that. Look at somebody like Harvey Weinstein. Ultimately, in my opinion, here's a man who had a lot of sexual desires, and he was never the sexy guy. So he now has a position, he now has power, and he's taking it out on women. And when you look at the Chinese government, we have not heard a lot of reports there, but we know it's going on, right? And the truth of the matter, we know it goes on everywhere, but we know that sexual exploitation will always go on when there's a really strong power dynamic and nobody can check it. Where does nobody check it? Nobody checks it where they don't look, right? Where the media doesn't look, where people are not going to report it, where people fear to report it. It's just hard for me to believe that somebody in Russia is not abusing people during Stalin's regime. Please, they doing it. Why are they doing it? Because nobody's going to say no to the to the communist leader. And the same in China. Nobody's going to say no in a dictatorship. You say, ooh, that woman look good to me. She going to say, well, I don't want my family to all be killed. Okay, yes, I'm willing. In her head, is she willing? Don't matter if she's willing or not, because you're going to do it because you have power over her and you're going to use that power. And sometimes people like when people are unwilling because it shows how much power they have and it puts everybody else in line. So that's why I say it's kind of a complex issue, because this is something that we should expect to have seen, but it is shocking the silence from a large part of people who should normally be speaking out on this. And what I'm talking about is a lot of the feminist organizations don't want to speak on this. A lot of the media organizations are not railing against this the way they should be. And a lot of the basketball stars are not speaking on this. And it's just amazing to me, like, you can get up there and you can spout Black Lives Matter on a case where you really don't know all the facts. And you can lambast the police, who, let's just be honest, the police 99.99% of the time are doing good work. Great work. Saving lives, rushing into buildings when other people wouldn't rush into them, getting killed in the line of duty, and they never really get the thanks that they really deserve, other than right after 9/11. So you got a lot of times that you got first responders doing all kind of stuff, and we can criticize them. Why can we criticize them? Because it's no cost. That's the real reason that people criticize the police in the United States. It's no cost. People act like the police oppress and they're killing black people. If that was true, then why would protesters get in their face and say F you? You don't do that to somebody you're afraid of. You know what you do? If you're afraid, you do what you do in China. You don't say nothing because you know you'll disappear. That's real fear. Not, I'm afraid of the police, so I'm going to go up in their face and say F you. No, you ain't afraid of the police. You are dishonest because your behavior betrays your real intentions. What you really are saying is, I don't like how the police behaved in this case, so I'm going to act a fool. And I know I can put the pressure on them, the political pressure, to allow me to do the behavior I wanted to do in the beginning, which for a lot of people is to destroy and loot. And that's just a straightforward argument. I challenge anybody to debate me on that one. So when you talk about talking on social issues, this is a real one, right? This is a real event where somebody is speaking out against a sexual assault by a man who has overwhelming power, and nobody in China is going to check him. The accusations just disappeared. And the thing that's scary is this dude is not actively powerful right now, right? This is not the one of the premier leaders right now. This is somebody who used to be in power. So imagine what the dudes who are in power are doing. And that's the thing that nobody is confronting. And I'm just amazed. Why don't Dwayne Wade, why don't LeBron James, why don't they speak on this issue? Because it'll cost them. Just like I said before, they will not lose any contracts or any sponsorships if they criticize the police that protect them every day. But they will lose some big TV contracts in China if they criticize the Chinese government. And ask Enes Kanter how welcome his freedom of speech is in the NBA. Because a lot of Celtics games are not being watched in China simply because he speaks out against the Chinese government and their advocacy of slavery. Yes, this current day, China has slavery. And there are a lot of black players who do not speak out against this. I'm amazed by that. Now, many of them don't know. And many of you don't know. And if you don't know, I can somehow look over that a little bit. But for some of you guys, you don't know because you don't want to know. Some people are making so much money off of China, they don't really care. And that's where it is amazing to me. People can, at one hand, look at somebody like LeBron James or Dwayne Wade and see they're making money off of slave labor in China. But on the other hand, look at somebody like Thomas Jefferson and tear his statue down. Because you're a hypocrite, man. You're a hypocrite. You're not looking at the whole picture. So just heart goes out to this lady. I don't know that she's necessarily 100% clean and everything that she's saying from the stories that I'm reading. But it is still, my heart goes out to her. And my heart goes out to all people in China who are oppressed by this regime. China is one of the most evil governments in the whole world. And people need to start going out there and saying it. Right? North Korea is sadistic and messed up. China is sadistic and messed up. And it is so big and it has so much power and is growing in so much power that people around the world need to start being concerned about their moral stances on all the issues.